See ya.
Do you mind if I take your laces
Yeah,
off?
go for it.
Cool.
Do you know what laces those are?
They look like nice flat Allen Edmond laces. Do they come with the shoes or?
Those are the sovereign grade Kirby Allison's.
Oh, okay.
He makes a good shoelace.
Yeah. It's all about those shoe findings and having all the little things that are tough to find. I think Saphir is actually making some laces here pretty soon.
Really?
Yeah. But yeah, man, shoe shining to me is just, something that I can do with my hands and see a tangible result pretty quickly. It's all about just the art of it, and I think everybody has a different art to it. If you watch anybody from Kirby Allison to my buddy Preston Soto from Elegant Oxford, to even some of the greats in Japan like Yuya, Kasagoya, they just have their own individual approach to it. But there's an art to everybody's approach.
There is an art. It's just like with anything. It has to be practiced. It has to be mastered in the sense of you have to have some enjoyment when you are shining shoes. Not necessarily making it a task, but more of an opportunity to showcase your skills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cool, man. It's been fun. I've been shining for about 6 years now, and I'm still learning. And I think I've shined a lot less shoes this year than I did in previous years, and due to just changes in the world. But I think I'm still learning, and doing less shoe shines. I'm focusing more on the quality of what I'm doing. And you just continue to learn. If you're not learning, you're kind of, I don't know, not a true artist, because I think artists are always trying to improve their approach to their craft.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with that. It's just something you have to enjoy this process.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Evan, tell me a little bit about yourself, and got a camera over here. You can kind of speak to people and say
absolutely
who you are, where you're from,
so,
what you do, what you're passionate about.
My name is Evan Moore. I've lived here in Denver for a year and a half now. I moved from Missouri. I've been in Missouri almost 10 years, and I enjoyed my time there. I wanted to do something different, and I was deciding between here or Raleigh, North Carolina. Why North Carolina? One, I enjoy, people don't consider Missouri the South, but I tell them there's two different parts. You have northern Missouri, which is Kansas City, St. Louis. Then you have the lower part of Missouri. Once you leave Kansas City and St. Louis, you are in the South. Yeah. And I mean that with no disrespect, but the vibe in southern Missouri is definitely that of the South.
Does the accent change a little bit from kind of where you are geographically?
I would say it's more of what you see.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lack of diversity once you leave those two cities. And then
is it more rural, or
it is slightly more rural than those areas, and the people are respectful, and I will never take that away from them. People are respectful. Just the vibe you feel in the city compared to not in the city is completely different.
Yeah, I traveled through like St. Louis area and like Columbia before, and I really enjoyed Columbia. It's like a college
University
town.
of Missouri.
Yeah, it's a college town vibe to it. And just seems like you got that Midwest friendly, people are approachable.
Oh yeah. So by trade, I'm a psychologist.
Oh yeah? Nice, man.
And
where'd you go to school?
Missouri State.
Okay, cool. How was your experience there?
I enjoyed it. For me, it was a difficult program due to the fact that you learn a lot about yourself, and there's sometimes that when we all have to look, I'd say, at as a metaphor, our reflection, sometimes we don't want to look at that.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of obstacles that I had to overcome in myself to be able to do this profession.
Kind of look at your own shadow.
Yeah.
And just kind
It
of.
took me about 2.5 years.
Okay.
It took me about 2.5 years. Again, I had some ups and some downs, and I decided to come out here. I came out here. Unfortunately, I spent more time COVID than not here. So I definitely got a chance to do the hiking, the concerts, and you know, I couldn't tell you the last time I went to a concert.
I know.
My buddy took me. We went to go see the Floozies.
Okay.
And then
Where'd they play?
they played at the. It's not. What's the one that's in Rhino? It's kind of like in that area.
Is it the newer one? The Mission? Or is it Mission Ballroom?
Yeah.
You've seen the show at the Mission?
Mhm.
Nice, man.
And that was crazy.
I've
And
heard
then-
that's a great venue.
Then we went to the Ogden
Ogden's one
to
of
go
my
see
favorites.
3-6 Mafia.
Okay.
And
I got a little rowdy?
it definitely got rowdy, but it was still a good time. I enjoyed it.
Nice.
So I got to do that. Met a lot of interesting people,
I'm sure, yeah.
and not necessarily at the concert, but just living in Cap Hill.
Uh-huh.
I met a lot of interesting people, and just the times I've had here, I wouldn't change it for anything. It was difficult at first because when I came out here, I didn't have a place to live. So I came with my dog, and me and my dog were just in my car until I can get approved for a place and then move. So
That's got to be stressful.
it was with the dog because my dog is like, imagine someone being hyper all the time.
Yeah.
She's a good dog.
Yeah. How old is she?
She's 5.
Okay.
She's a black lab, and
Nice.
she just has energy for days.
Yeah.
So
Have you had her since she was a puppy?
I had her ever since she was 11 weeks old, and she could fit in the palm of my hand.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. So that was difficult at first, and once I got my bearings as far as where I'm going to be living, the agency I was going to be working for, things started to fall in place a little better, and I just had to get my footing. There was a moment where I'm like, maybe I should go back to Missouri. But for me,
Yeah, that kind of fight or flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I was like, you're already here.
Yeah, the hard part's over, right?
Exactly. So you can make it happen.
Yeah.
So it took a minute. I got my bearings, and I've been enjoying myself since. During the summer here, so 2020 summer, once COVID was going on, there was so much, just with protests, riots, there was just so much turmoil.
Yeah, I mean, you're not too far away from downtown, so
Yeah.
you're kind of seeing a little
It
bit
was
of
on our block.
Yeah.
You remember that? What happened this summer with the police coming down the
Oh,
block?
the SWAT and everything.
Oh my God, that was
Dun, 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 dun.
that's all it was.
So it was just kind of a show of force, yeah?
Not only that,
It was
they were
crazy.
shooting you too.
Yeah, people were like they would start running and then they would just jump off the truck and then start shooting them with rubber bullets.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I just
in front of our
remember.
building, like not in front of the Capitol.
Exactly.
Were you guys just kind of staying safe inside, or?
No, I was sitting outside smoking a cigarette.
It
Nice.
it was just.
It was kind of a show.
It really was, and on top of that, I remember just the neighborhood would smell like tear gas.
Yeah. Gross.
So
That's different times,
it
man.
really
It's different
was.
times. We're
There
seeing
was
history.
just so much going on this summer, and
I think a lot of people are just kind of really frustrated with a lot of things, and it just was like a perfect storm,
Oh.
you know. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a grind to get people to come back and in their work environments. I think a lot of people are like, nah, I think I'm cool with staying at home and working from home, you know. And
yeah, and I agree. I have a buddy who's an accountant, and he's been working home for a year now.
yeah,
The thing is, and he moved to be closer to his work, and now he hasn't even went to the office since
Yeah.
he moved.
yeah,
And the thing is, with everything that's going on right now with the pandemic, I think this opened a lot of people's eyes to, you don't need to be in an office to work. You can do it from home.
yeah,
Now, can that drive you stir crazy? For me, absolutely. Because sitting and staring in front of a screen, it's like I'm tired of doing this.
Yeah.
I'm tired of being here.
Especially at your home.
Exactly.
Because the work life and home life kind of blends.
Now I still go to my office, even though I'm the only one there. I go and I'm like, listen, I'm gonna go to my office and I'll work from there, even though I'm the only person there. And I'm fine with it. I can get up, I can put some clothes on and go about my business. And I feel that I can still be productive, but not just be confined to my house. Like, that's something I cannot do.
Yeah, I think being in a work environment and kind of feeding off that energy of your coworkers, I think I'm personally more productive in a work environment. Like when I come here sometimes, even though I'm not helping many people on the chair, you know, I'll bring my computer and just kind of work on, you know, if I'm working on a video or something like that, just to stay busy, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what got you so interested in fashion? Was it kind of passed down upon you as a young man, or?
So my dad was very elegantly dressed when I was really young, and then when he was in his 20s and 30s, but you know, my dad is 71.
Nice.
So back in the 50s and 60s, it was different.
Yeah.
Same thing. My mom still dresses nice to this day, but I've seen pictures of them, and their style is a reflection of them.
Yeah.
But what got me started down this journey, I used to live in Kansas, okay?
What part of Kansas?
Hutchinson.
Okay, where's that?
Maybe like 40 minutes from Wichita, Kansas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Some good people out there.
Yeah, Kansas, I mean, no disrespect to Kansas people, but Kansas sucks.
It's got its perk. It's got good barbecue.
You're talking about Kansas City, Missouri side.
Oh, okay.
You're talking about the Missouri side, yeah. Because I know you're talking probably like Stack Jacks and Oklahoma Joe's.
Yeah. But
That's
Kansas,
the Missouri
they've got
side.
they got some big banks and financial institutions. There's some people that really dress up out there.
Probably in parts of Wichita and Kansas City, Kansas.
Yeah.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
because there's like a lot of plastic surgeons and stuff out there.
That's in the you're gonna be on the Missouri side for that.
Oh, okay.
one.
Oh, is it really? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
The Chiefs Stadium, the Royal Stadium, that's the Missouri side.
That is, yeah.
That is the Missouri
Just kind of right
side.
across the border, huh?
Yep, and I mean Kansas City, Kansas is cool. Again, no disrespect to my Kansas people,
Right?
but they know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
when I was in college, I had this buddy of mine. His name was Nicholas Eckworth, and he was from Stockholm, Sweden.
Oh, wow.
He was the life-size version of a Ken doll.
Yeah.
This dude,
It's fashionable, huh?
not only fashionable, but
Yeah.
probably one of the
Pretty handsome guy.
handsomest looking guys I've ever seen.
You're like, dang, man.
He was like 6'5",
Yeah.
blue eyes, blonde hair, completely shredded,
Jeez.
and I'm like, just chick magnet.
Jeez, yeah.
In his country, dressing was a respectful thing.
Mm-hmm.
So he dressed nice all the time.
Yeah.
Even in his casual wear
Yeah.
was
Just like
always nice.
Nice sweaters and slacks and stuff all the time.
And he won best dressed on campus.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And we were like maybe a door away from each other in the building. And I always admired that about him. And we built a friendship. And I always told him that I want to do something different because I did sports in college and I was so just used to sweatpants, shorts, t-shirt, hoodie, and that's it.
What kind of sports did you play?
So I played football and I did track.
Nice. What position in football?
So I was a lot bigger back then.
Yeah.
I was probably like 299.
Dang.
Yeah. Yeah.
How tall are you? Like 6'2"?
3.
6'3"?
Yeah.
Nice. Right on.
Yeah. And right now I'd say probably like 200.
Okay.
maybe.
Yeah, you look good in shape, man. You work
Yeah.
out quite a bit, or?
Yeah, I started working out the past 2 months. I stopped when the pandemic started. All of 2020, I didn't work out except for November and December. I decided
Those are hard months to work out in. It's like the two hardest months to work out in.
I
with all the
wanted to
food.
just really get back into it.
Yeah.
Just because I missed it, and so I was like, you know what, let me just start doing it. So started doing it again, enjoyed it. But the guy Nick,
Mm-hmm.
I took my inspiration from him, and from that point on, I just started to refine my style, trying to figure out who I was
Mm-hmm.
through my clothing.
And what you're comfortable wearing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I didn't wear suits or sport coats until, I'm going to say maybe my mid-20s when I first got my first sport coat, and I got it out of a Value Village,
Mhm.
a Goodwill.
Nice.
Got one from there, and it was a navy one, gold buttons, traditional blazer.
Nice.
That point moving forward, I don't think I got my first suit until I may have been 26, and it was a Ralph Lauren, like off the rack. But it wasn't to my liking,
Yeah.
and honestly, I sold that and I didn't wear a suit since. I just wore sport coats because
Mhm.
I got a lot more usage out of them. So I honestly got my first suit when I got here in Denver.
Okay.
Yeah, I wore sport coats just because in Missouri, that in the area I was at, a sport coat was enough. Sport
Yeah.
coat tie, I could dress it up. But I didn't know suits. I didn't know good quality suits. I had to keep doing my research. Once I was able to do my research and get a better understanding that, okay, what is full canvas? What is half canvas? What type of wool are you looking for? So specific things to give myself the information to make a good decision, let alone, rather than a poor decision on getting something that is cheap but it's low quality. And I'm under the impression you want to get the best you can afford.
Mm-hmm.
So once I was looking on eBay and I came across a Hickey Freeman sport coat, and I bought it. I knew my measurements, it aligned up with my measurements. And I was looking at the suit, it had a tear in the lining. And I looked inside, and the sport coat, it was a full canvas sport coat. It was a vintage model.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh.
So full canvas sport coat's like just the material it's made out of, like
So,
liner and
The
everything.
canvas on the inside, a half canvas is stuff about your rib cage.
Mhm.
A full lining or full canvas comes all the way down to the bottom.
Okay.
And what the canvas does, it offers a little more structure to where that is going to form to your chest, so the suit becomes more of your suit.
Nice.
So it gives it more structure to your body. And it's just another indicator of a higher quality suit.
Okay.
So I started doing more research on that brand, Hickey Freeman, it was Ask Andy, like a style forum.
Mm-hmm.
And once I did that, got the information I needed to about Hickey Freeman, I started looking up different types and seeing some of the suits, seeing that a lot of the buttonholes on the suits were hand-stitched buttonholes, and the difference between a hand-stitch, if you ever seen a suit or sport coat that doesn't have a hand stitch or machine sewn buttonhole, it's irregular. So
Mm-hmm.
the back of the suit or the back of the buttonhole look a lot different. There is an elevated surface
Mhm.
on the buttonhole, meaning a slight wire was put around and sewn in to give it that elevated
So
look.
it's just a little bit more embossed, kind of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Than something that's not a high quality machine stitch, to where it's just, they just cut it, they sew it, and there's no type of structure around the buttonhole.
Mm-hmm.
So once I got familiar with that,
You know your stuff, man.
oh yeah, I super enjoy learning about it. Once I started understanding Hickey Freeman a little bit, I started looking at different models that they have. Okay, which ones are full canvas compared to which ones are half canvas.
Mm-hmm.
Hickey Freeman did a lot of suits with a lot of higher end fabric makers. So I started looking for those.
Mhm.
And I was telling Bill earlier that I found a 3-row 2 forest green 100% cashmere
Ooh.
sport coat by Laura Piana Cashmere.
Where's that based out in Paris or something? Or?
Italy?
Italy,
Am I
okay, cool.
mistaken?
Nice.
Laura Piana. So a sport can is a custom sport coat, not custom for me,
Yeah.
for another individual. They fit my measurements. I got some slight alterations done.
Nice. Made it work.
A sport coat like that with Loro Piana cashmere, you're looking at, you're gonna pay over 3 G's.
Dang, that's a good find, huh? How much did you pay in alterations?
I paid $40 for a sport coat.
So people like watching your content, your channel, and on Instagram and on YouTube, what can they expect to find and learn?
So, coming to my channel, you'll learn more about vintage menswear and how you don't have to, if you don't have the pocket for it, pay an absorbent amount of money to look good. As long as you know what you're looking for, if you know specific brands, if you know the fabrics, if you the main one, if you know your measurements,
That's huge, huh?
you can find good quality suiting for a cheap price. And not actually cheap, but just affordable. Because I have suits. One of the videos that I did, this was an individual got a custom suit done. It was a Hickey Freeman suit done, but they got it from Homer Reed. The suit is Loro Piana Super 120s. It's brown, but it has a faint stripe, okay? Full canvas construction, hand-sewn buttonholes. The suit was made for an individual back in 1995.
Okay.
If you saw
That
it
was a good
today,
year. That was a good year.
if you saw it today, you would not have known that suit was done in
Because
1995.
it's just so classic.
It's so classic, but again, the quality and the craftsmanship of that suit, to where it's high quality, so it's going to stand the test of time.
It's like a good pair of loafers, or a good kind of Oxford, or like Allen Edmonds Park Avenue or something is just timeless.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm getting some alterations done to that suit. I'm looking forward to wearing it just because it exudes elegance.
Yeah.
I say for me, when I wear suits, I exude confidence. People don't normally see, unless this may be someone's dad or grandfather, like, oh, my dad or grandfather dressed like that.
They don't see the lineage of it.
They don't see, even when I go out sometimes, and I go to a bar just downtown, and I come in with a suit, people automatically look. They're gonna ask questions.
Yeah. Like, what do you do for a living?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What do you do? Where are you from? Why do you got a suit on?
Right. Yeah. It's like, you in town from somewhere. Why are you so dressed up? Yeah.
Because it's something that it's somewhat of a foreign concept for a man to wear a suit. Let's just say on a Saturday, just walking around down here. It's like, okay, are you going somewhere? Or
got a meeting.
you got something that you're going to? Because a suit embodies, for me, business. That
More of a
it's
purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Purpose, importance. You have something going on.
Yeah, and especially nowadays. I mean, I was just kind of thinking about this. I'm actually looking for another job, just kind of because it's crazy times and business is slow. But I'm going to continue doing these shinings. But I'm looking, and I went for an interview yesterday, and I dressed up, not to outdress the people that were there, the CEOs and stuff, but dressed to impress. And I think, wearing a mask nowadays, like, people can't really read your energy, your facial expression, so like, it's even more important to dress up and to be respectful towards, who you're hanging out with. And looks like I got a little low on that one. But yeah, I mean, you got to impress the people that you're trying to impress, and having a mask on, we can't really exude the same presence. So dressing up is definitely a way to kind of set yourself a little bit ahead.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. It's just, again, it's just something different, and for me, when I dress like this, it just shows my confidence and.
Yeah, you feel better, feel more confident. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I used to work at a call center, and I'd be, one of the best dressed in the call center, and people like, what job are you applying for today? You got an interview today here or something? And I think it would come through in the tone, and like, even standing when you're talking on the phone is a different energy than, when you're sitting down all casual and slouched. So the tone, depending on how you're dressed, how you feel, it all comes through, you know. And I think there's no better time than now to have a strong presence, you know.
So tell me,
Yeah.
watching your technique, you use towels, fast motion.
Yeah.
What is the reason you don't, I wouldn't call it the traditional way, but with the brush, horsehair brush, hitting it, because there's definitely a distinct shine with how you did that.
Yeah, the creams are really the biggest thing, you know, working the cream in this area here, the vamp, where the shoot bends and all those, it just gets that more of the wear concentrated in that area. And by brushing it and versus using a chamois cloth, I think the brush can really kind of work in certain areas that, you know, I can't really work the chamois. So I'll kind of use the brushes in like certain areas, like kind of here, you know, kind of brushing out those areas that are just a little tougher to chamois. And then using the chamois just to kind of buff out any light kind of almost like brush marks. I think the brush will get it shiny, but using a cloth or a nylon, or, you know, some guys will wrap a cotton t-shirt around their fingers and do that worked great. You're able to kind of get a little more glissaged finish to the waxes than using a brush.
Absolutely. So let's just say I drop something, it shatters it, because it's like glass, it shatters it.
Yeah.
How do you restore that? Are you one to completely strip off everything, or what is your technique for that?
Definitely strip it all the way down. Yeah, I think it's just easier to start from scratch. So sometimes, you know, like every maybe like third or fourth shine, I'll just strip them down to just basically the raw, you know, leather, where it's still got the color from the, you know, the tannery and from the dye job. So you're not stripping the color all the way out. But using a product like, you know, Reno Mat, some guys will use a hair dryer and just kind of melt the wax off. And just kind of do that. But any excessive heat to leather is just like our skin. You know, when our skin gets exposed to you know, extreme heat or extreme cold, it dries out and cracks. And that's kind of the last thing that I want to happen to shoes. So I typically just use like products like the Reno Mat to kind of strip it down, and then you know, start from scratch, saddle soap it, get the cream on there to kind of get a base layer, get that real rich kind of healthy leather going on again, and get that color just nice and deep again with some of that the pigment and the cream polishes that I use. But the wax is really, you know, or where it's at to get that shine and that protection. But like you said, you know, if you do drop something on it, it typically does kind of show that crack.
See, I use a lighter, and I think if it's really bad, I'm like, okay, I have to strip all this off. Then I'll use a lighter. And if I spider it, honestly, I'll use a lighter and just melt those waxes again.
Yeah.
Get some sapphire, go over it, and it looks brand new. I'm like, well, sometimes I get lazy to where I'm like, oh, do I want to strip it all off and start all over, or can
It's a process.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. And I try to, if it has to resort to that, then absolutely. But if not, then I'm like, let me just get that lighter. Melt it, get some wax, go over it, and I'm like, oh, good news, let's go.
Yeah, they look good, man. I hope they look a little better than when you came in.
That shine is, you know, having a pair of shoes that look spot on and that light hits them just right. Individuals know that.
Oh yeah, turn heads.
There's a psychology behind it. Shoes, specifically talking about those. When you first meet somebody, of course we look at them in the face, we move down to the shoes, and back to the face. Well, the reason people look at the face is because they're judging indicators of their health, okay? And for opposite sex, attractiveness, but also more masculine features. Look down to shoes. For some reason, shoes is an indicator of your status, career-wise. Yes, you could say people shouldn't do it, but subconsciously, that's what we do.
For sure.
So,
whether we try to or not.
Exactly. So people look at that and they have this preconceived notion of who you are, what do you do, and where you are in life. Wearing a pair of shoes that are spot on like this, people are going to assume more highly of you. They give you you're in sales, may give you a little longer to pitch your speech.
Yeah, give you a little more credibility.
Yeah, exactly. So there's definitely not only an art, then there's also psychology between being well dressed. And I'm not talking in a suit, I'm just saying well dressed and having clean shoes. It doesn't have to be dress shoes.
It's all about grooming, yeah.
There's
Personal hygiene.
so much into it. Absolutely.
You sure?
Right on, man.
They look phenomenal.
Well, I appreciate your time
Yeah,
and being here.
absolutely.
Why don't you tell people again where they can find you online?
Oh, so on Instagram, you can follow me at A Step Above 10. And my YouTube channel is A Step Above. That said, A Step Above is not just my Instagram and my YouTube channel. A Step Above is actually my image consulting, the Step Above Image Consulting LLC. So it is an umbrella to the business. So it's something I'm passionate about, and I told myself, well, instead of just doing a channel and Instagram on it, make this into something.
Yeah. Well, keep at it, man.
Hey,
It's a pleasure having you here.
Absolutely. It's an absolute pleasure just to be here amongst you guys and soak up that haberdash.
Yeah,
I like
baby.
that word now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
So thank you so much.
Yeah, make sure
Thank
to
you.
check out his channel, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Check it out. Give me a like. Give me a follow. I appreciate that.
Mr. Evan Moore. Ladies and
Absolutely.
gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Thanks, man.
Hey, these look great.
Thanks, dude.